Gotta close the back end up. I'm Jim O'Connell from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We are a corn, soybean cattle operation, and we also grow cover crops, which we've been doing for 14 years. What we're doing this year, it's new. I've never done this before, but we're harvesting the corn and planting the cover crop at the same time. So far, everything's been working great. It's changed so much. I mean, whoever thought you'd be planting with a combine, you know, while you're harvesting? The time factor was the first thing that I noticed. And then you start thinking about it more, and the fuel savings and the wear and tear on equipment. Stuff costs a lot of money, so less passes through the field. I think it's a win-win. There's a lot of options that we can put in this seeder because it's more of a broadcast, so I think we're going to get better coverage. This is where the cover crop comes through these tubes. They come out into the front of the snoot, and it blows it up into the snoot in front of the snapping rolls, which pulls the corn down, and then the seed is distributed on the ground before the snapping rolls. That trash covers it, and then once the rest of the trash goes through the back of the chopper, that ends up covering up the cover crop too. There's a 60 bushel tank, and we have blowers below it. Those distribute the cover crop through these tubes into this manifold, and then it distributes it evenly throughout each one of the lines that go to each snoot. So we can carry 60 bushels with us, which we can do depending on how much pounds we're putting on per acre. We can do roughly around 50 acres before we have to fill again. It takes, if I get it set up right, 7-8 minutes to fill. Doesn't take a lot of time once you get used to doing it. This monitor is the one running the cover crop. It's a variable rate. It goes with the speed of the combine, applies whatever pounds we want. We can go 35, 45, 55. I can just push the button and it'll change the rate. A couple of the other features for the harvest seeder are underneath here is the drive pump that we get our pressure from the combine. Very simple concept. That's the only thing that they really use that takes horsepower from the combine. It takes about 5 to 7 horsepower, runs the pump and the blower for the harvest seeder. All the oil is self-contained in the harvest seeder. We do not use any oil from the combine. The main frame, it's connected to the axle of the combine, and it's a main frame all the way up, so it's a stout piece of equipment on here. Seed gets transitioned over to our junction that connects to the head, and then you can see the lines that come off, and it's distributed in the front of the snoots. We can come around the front of the snoots, and I can raise one up, and you can see the tubes that come underneath here, and they hit a plate. This plate is just slightly angled upwards, and it fans out for the whole width of the snoot. So between each row is being covered with cover crop. The difference between the corn head and the bean head is that the bean head, it's distributed on the ground from the back of the head. And it's just a quick clip, take off, 10 seconds, it's disconnected, set it up on the step, head comes off, and you can move to the next head. As you can see, this the bean platform is different than the corn head. We connect here with the seeder, harvest seeder. It's distributed through the top. We're not going underneath the head now. We're distributed through the top. It hits these plates, and we have a whole bunch of lines here that brings the cover crop out. We broadcast it here. There's a setup on the combine, so underneath the throat of the combine is where we get the cover crop down. So then we get a complete 35-foot band of broadcast seed. After that first field, I remember driving down the road and looking at the field and thinking that's actually seeded with cover crop. And that was a good feeling. So every time you're doing something with the combine, you're doing two things. You're not doing that with your planter. We're saving fuel, time, equipment wear and tear, and the cost of running another implement through the field. God, it's just the time. I can't even explain how much time it saves. Your time sitting in that seat is worth something. The harvest seeder is, for me, is the way to go. We are in the spring now. First time using the harvest seeder last fall. Things turned out pretty well. Our fields are becoming more and more mellow, and they're just more porous. Water filtration is so much better. Organic matter is so much better. This has changed the way of thinking of putting cover crops on because of the time factor, the savings. I mean, it's pennies on the dollar to run this thing. I'm happy as heck with how everything turned out.